The middle class is dying without dignity. The economy, these insane economic policies that have been promulgated since Ronald Reagan came into office the last 26 years. And yes, Bill Clinton was a piece of it with his NAFTA and GATT and WTO and all these absolutely insane things, spitting in the face of Alexander Hamilton, who created our first national industrial policy in 1791. Have wiped out at least 10 million manufacturing jobs in aggregate since Reagan came into office. And every day, more are going. And now in Chicago, and of course we're on the air in Chicago, although this show is delayed by 3 hours, but I know we have a lot of listeners who listen on our web stream in Chicago, and Marcus is going to try and open up some phone lines. So in particular, if any of our Chicago listeners want to call in. Larry Spivak is with us. He is the executive director of AFSCME Council 31, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. AFSCME.org is the website. And Larry, you just came from Republic Doors and Windows. Do I have that right?
No, I came from a press conference, and let me clarify, I'm a regional director, not executive director.
Okay, regional director. Fine.
Yeah.
And the let's just set the backstory here. Republic Windows and Doors is a manufacturing company in the Chicago area, and they are operating, as most businesses do, with a line of credit. And the Bank of America said, sorry, we got our bailout from the government. We're going to pay our executives and our CEOs their millions, but we got no line of credit for you guys. Tough luck. And so Republic Windows and Doors said to their employees, well, that's it. That's the end. 200 people are losing their jobs with basically about a 3-hour notice. Do I have that right?
3-day notice.
Or 3-day notice, yeah.
Yeah, 3-day notice, right. Yeah. And they were in negotiations, and the company came in and just started moving out machinery and things like that, as opposed to the 75-day notice they're supposed to have in Illinois.
Right. So now we've got, apparently the company violated the law, but their argument is, hey, the bank made us do it. And now the workers are occupying the plant saying what?
Well, the workers are occupying the plant saying that we have vacation, we have pay, we have severance pay, this is all owed to us. And you're just walking away, a runaway shop, and we have, when you start thinking about 200, 250 workers, you start thinking about 1,000 people are affected by this immediately,
sure.
Their families right before the holidays. So it's like a huge gut-busting event for workers in this country in one place, and if this company gets away with this, others will do it as well. I should just add one thing, that the company appears to be opening up another factory in Iowa at the same time, and that's probably where the machinery is going, because there they can pay lower wages. This is a union contract, and so we think that's what's happening.
So what we have here is perhaps a company using the situation with the bank as a rationale or an excuse for actually union busting.
I believe that's what's taken place, as many other people do.
Yeah.
We just came from a press conference at City Hall where there were many, many aldermen and other dignitaries there, and county commissioners speaking in support of the workers, and they're about to pass a resolution to withdraw all the city and county's money from the Bank of America, which amounts to probably close to $1 billion if Bank of America doesn't do something about it.
Right. Now, but if the company has been planning all along to simply move their manufacturing elsewhere, and frankly, I'm surprised they're moving it to Iowa and not to China if they're going to move it. But if they've decided to move their manufacturing elsewhere, what if Bank of America comes along and says, okay, fine, no problem, we'll give them the money, we give, and then the managers of Republic Door and Windows say, tough luck anyway. I mean, haven't they refused to meet with the workers? Might this be
no,
why?
they're actually. The union is meeting with Bank of America today at 4 o'clock.
No, I'm talking about the management of the company. Didn't the management of the company, Republic Windows and Doors, not show up at a meeting that they were scheduled for?
That's my understanding, but I really believe that Bank of America does what it needs to do, that Republic Doors and Steel, Window and Doors will do what it needs to do. At least we hope so.
Okay, so the bottom line here is, if we want to stand in solidarity, or if we want to sit in with these workers in solidarity here on the Thom Hartmann program and our listeners all around the country, what can or should we do, Larry Spivak?
Well, certainly people should contact the Chicago Interfaith Committee for Worker Justice, and they should contact UE Local 1110 here in Chicago. But the other thing is, if not get resolved today in the discussions with Bank of America on Wednesday, and I'm sorry I don't have the time, but on Wednesday there's going to be a massive rally on LaSalle Street, which is kind of the, Second City Wall Street, if you will. Yep. And we will try to let Bank of America and Republic know that American workers aren't going to stand for this, that workers are going to get more and more in solidarity, just as they did at this election. The listeners should also know that President Obama came out with a statement of support of the workers today and said they did the right thing by occupying the plant. Yeah. As did so many others. So workers are getting inspired, and this is kind of like taking us back in some ways to thinking about how we used to do things years and years ago.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that Obama has talked about Lincoln being one of his heroes, and Lincoln was the very first president to stop strike busting in the United States. Mm-hmm. To officially do that and to use the word strike and to talk about workers' rights. In fact, one of his famous quotes: "Labor is superior to capital because labor precedes capital." In other words, nobody gets rich until somebody makes something.
Right, as we say in the labor movement, labor creates all wealth.
That's right. It's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, back to Adam Smith or Aristotle. I mean, it's labor creates all wealth. You're absolutely right.
Right, yeah. My other incarnation is that I'm president of the Illinois Labor History Society, and we own the deed to the Haymarket Monument, where the real modern labor movement began here in Chicago.
Yep.
So we do think that these are the kind of issues that work today's middle class is built on, and so that's why it's everybody's issue. It's not just a fight of a couple hundred workers in a factory. It's everybody's issue, as you've seen from bailout to one thing or another. So.
We're talking with Larry Spivak. He is the Regional Director of AFSCME Council 31, afscme.org, the main website. Larry, you mentioned two places that people should contact. It's really easy for me to direct people to politicians. We have a website called callcongress.org with a bunch of toll-free numbers where people can call their members of the House of Representatives or Senate toll-free. But I don't know how to directly get people to easily contact the organizations you mentioned. Do you want to tell us how to do that? And your thoughts on contacting politicians?
Yeah, if it's a statement of solidarity, they can contact United Electrical Workers, Local 1110. But if the Chicago Interfaith Committee for Worker Justice, which is chicagointerfaith.org, and if they Google that, they'll find it. Okay. They'll be able to contact somebody that way to get where we want politicians to support it. The good news is that this is one of those cases where all the politicians are coming out of the woodwork. At least the Democratic politicians in Chicago appear to be. There must have been 20 aldermen at the press conference on just a short notice. And County Commissioner Quigley and Reverend Jesse Jackson with statements of support from Jan Schakowsky, Congresswoman, was in the plant yesterday. Congressman Luis Gutierrez was in the plant on Saturday, and they've helped very much. And so this is an example of a kind of coalition that we need for workers, and it seems to be happening real fast. And let's just hope that today's talks go well.
So, sitting in solidarity here on the Thom Hartmann program with the folks, with the workers of Republic Windows and Doors in Chicago. We're talking with Larry Spivak, AFSCME Regional Director, Council 31. And Larry, contacting politicians, going to callcongress.org and calling your member of the House or Senate? Good idea?
Absolutely. The more that people hear, even the politicians who are friendly, who live in the district from Gutierrez's, Luis Gutierrez.
Or all across the country. All across the country. They can bring, politicians from every state, they can bring pressure on each other.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. That's what we should be doing. It's a movement now, and we want it to continue.
Hopefully this will be the beginning of, like in the 1880s and 1890s, a new and revitalized progressive movement in the United States. Larry Spivak. Yeah, and the 1930s. There you go. Let's not forget. Larry, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.